And I'm going to hit record as well.
Okay.
All right. Are we up? And we are live. Yes. Hello, everybody. Thank you so much for your patience with us. Third week in a row, we've had tech problems, so I am going to figure that out. So thank you for your patience. We were talking about Karen's, awfuls, AWFLs with now the U, the urban. Um, and I guess I wonder, you know, how much of that is just kind of an internet phenomenon with people trying to make symbols and icons of other people. You catch somebody in this one moment in their life. If you get it on record, then you can call them out and call out everybody who's acted in a certain way. I mean, how many of us have had a moment
Mm-hmm.
where if somebody recorded it, it wouldn't have looked good? Like every single human being.
Mm-hmm.
It's just a fact of life. But now that everybody's got their phones up, ready to get a viral video of somebody getting upset, you get the phenomenon of the Karen, the let me talk to your manager woman. And I don't know. I'm not sure that this isn't just a sport for a lot of people. Hate is a sport right now.
Yeah, I think it's true. And then it creeps me out when people then catch somebody in a moment that they're behaving poorly, or maybe they're just being captured out of context, but then they have this bloodlust and they start Googling the person and find out where they work and send the
Yeah.
video to their employer and try to destroy their life because somebody wasn't meeting their standards,
Yeah.
for that moment in their life. I just think that's absolutely ghastly.
Can I ask you guys a question? Do you think do you see in your lives that women are happy? Like especially, well, maybe liberal women in particular, but in general, um, do you know women who are like really happy? Or I know happiness is transitory, but like
Yeah. I don't know if I would say I know women that are happy. I know women that feel some sense of purpose, some meaning in their lives. I can say I know women who do feel that. And I know women who don't have that and might feel a little bit kind of empty, or without purpose. And I know women who are just kind of downright miserable. And those tend to be the women that are in miserable marriages or miserable partnerships where they feel trapped and they're not able to, get out of the situation, whatever it is, for whatever reason. Oftentimes it's because there are kids involved, or they're dependent on somebody else financially. And because of that, they're unable to sort of get out of that scenario. But I wouldn't use the word happy. I like thinking about it right now. I don't know a single woman in my life who would say, yes, I'm a happy person. But I do know people that would say, I find meaning and purpose in doing these particular things, or I find some contentment when I'm doing this, or I feel empty because I don't have a sense of purpose or a sense of meaning. But in other ways, my life is really comfortable. I have some family members who, are very comfortable financially and are able to, the women don't work and they're able to travel and to do all of these things. But I don't know that they would say happy either. I think that there's a sense of emptiness because there isn't anything else that they're doing that make them feel valued and valuable in their current environment. So that would be my answer. That's a really
that's
good
interesting.
question. Yeah, it's a good question. I hadn't really
That's
thought of
really interesting because I think I have always had this sense um that it's gonna sound weird that I just am valuable. Like I am. And I've never really felt guilt or shame or a sense of that I needed to prove myself. Like literally, I don't think ever really. And anything I've ever done was because it was a goal I wanted to achieve, or because I enjoyed it for itself, for its own sake.
Mhm.
And maybe that's actually incredibly rare. I mean, I think women in general are so inherently, we are where all of the value is.
Sure. I think
Um,
rare. I mean, and maybe it's rare in my own experience of who I know, but and maybe it's rare because I'm a therapist and it's kind of what I'm used to. So I might have a very kind of, skewed vision, skewed view. I don't know about, Jen and Leslie, what you all think, but my view might be very skewed because of those things.
I would say that probably most of the women that I know do seem pretty happy. I mean, happiness, what is that really? It's a transient thing. Like, are we all supposed to be happy all the time? I'm not happy all the time. I have a lot of times when I'm stressed or when I'm just working on something or when something's a puzzle. But if you ask me, are you happy in your life? Then I'd say yes. And I think I could say that I would expect most of my friends probably would answer that same way, and most of the women that I know in my family. So I don't see that reflected online, that's for sure. But I in real life, I would say that yes, most people I know, women and men too. Let me think about that. So I know a lot. Yeah,
Oh
I
my
think so
gosh.
generally.
I need to surround myself by a whole different group of people, I guess. Wow. That's amazing.
Yeah, the demographics are different. I feel like I mean, I'm not sure if you're talking about homeschoolers, Leslie, but
Not
like,
just, no.
yeah, but I can see why that would make sense. And that's not, that's not the AWFUL.
Mm-hmm.
It's not the same group. What about
Mm.
you, Jen?
Mm, yeah, I mean, I feel like I know people that are definitely happy in their lives. I do feel like women are sort of extraordinarily stressed out that
Yeah.
too much has been placed upon women. And so I do see a lot of that. And I can tell you, I wouldn't be happy in those situations. Um, but I think I'm happy. I'm happy in my life.
Ron
I
Nielsen
watched
says Jenny is valuable. And Area Hermit Woman says my well-being is beautiful when I avoid the news media. Yeah.
Yeah,
That helps.
that helps a lot.
So I watched this show last week. I binge watched a show from like 7 or 8 years ago called Fleischman is in Trouble. I think it was on the
Oh
FX
yeah,
network or something.
I remember.
It's really good, but it's really like, I mean, this was where this idea started kind of really percolating. It's like, I mean, I've had this observation numerous times over the years. Like 5 years ago, 5 or 6 years ago, the song came out here in the UK, and it was being played on the sort of indie music radio station that I at the time listened to all the time. It was called "None of My Friends Are Okay." It was like a young woman, like a millennial probably, and one of the like the lyrics refer to like their low-key cocaine habits and how miserable they all are, and they're all stressed and they're all unhappy. And in Fleischman is in Trouble, the two female characters, well, one in particular, I mean, it just is very, very unhappy, even though she has a really nice husband and a beautiful little house in New Jersey and two healthy kids, and she quit her job to stay home to raise them, and that was a possibility for them. And it's just like the entire sort of a back end of the series is just devoted to how utterly miserable she is and how detached she is from this life.
Hmm.
And it's like, it definitely, if you go by popular culture and the TV and the movies that are being made, seems to be the only kind of woman out there. That's what you would think, because there's like almost like a fixation on how miserable the affluent white liberal women are. Like that's all they make movies about and shows about. I mean, I tried to watch this Baby Girl. Did you see that with Nicole Kidman?
Yeah.
Did you
Oh,
hear
yeah,
about
yeah.
it?
Yeah,
I
I
watched
watched
that.
it. I
You
watched.
did?
Hmm.
Did it
I
get
haven't
better?
seen it.
What did you think, Christine?
Um, I didn't love it. I wasn't particularly fond of just the plot in general. I kind of watched, it was one of those, nothing else was on. I had seen, a couple of reviews, so I thought I'd put it on. I don't know if I actually finished the last third of it, so I don't actually recall. Yeah, I didn't watch the last third of it, so I don't know how it ended. I think somewhere in the middle of it, I started doing some chores around the house, so it was on in the background, and I missed the ending. But the first half to 2/3, I don't know, it was just so dark, and I felt just
Right.
uncomfortable with.
Is it a movie or a show?
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's a movie.
Movie.
Okay.
Yeah, it was really dark, and it was depressing, and I'm not into that kind of darkish stuff. I really, it's not for me. It's not for me. There's too
Did you
much
see it, Jen?
darkness in general.
Right.
And
Yeah.
to watch that kind of stuff and intake more of it for me is just a no. I need to see kind of brighter things in my spare time.
Mhm.
Did you see it, Jen?
Yeah, I just thought it was kind of much ado about nothing. So she's dissatisfied with the quality of her sex life and has sort of, I can't really remember the details, but I guess sort of marginally, slightly kinky sex with this much younger guy who then gets a
Right.
little psycho. I mean, I don't know, big whoop. I just didn't think it was
It felt very
anything
degrading to me.
interesting.
Like the main point of it is that she's a boss lady, right? She's a CEO of a tech company or something. The like a very, very, very successful corporate executive woman in her middle age with teenage children, and embarks upon a torrid affair with a male intern. But I stopped watching. There's a point very soon into it where she eats his tie. Like she
Yeah.
finds his tie from the Christmas party on the ground, like in their office, and it's been on the ground and amongst garbage from the party. And she picks it up and she goes into her office and she stuffs the tie in her mouth. And I was just like, this is incredibly degrading.
That's
Why
weird.
why are we, and I think the whole point of it is, yeah, it's sort of like a submissive sub dom, where he's the dom and she's the
Mm.
sub. And it's supposed to be like a, what do you call it? Like a take on, women, the power dynamic and blah, 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 blah.
Yeah.
But it's like, why are we like wanting to see a successful middle-aged woman degrade herself? I mean, there's something, and it's very much like white women focused, and I just find the whole thing, it's like, I just feel unsettled by it. Like there's something kind of sick about it. Like we have to hold up this figure for ridicule and scorn and humiliation every so often. And I mean,
Huh,
like
interesting.
when it comes to these videos of women, sometimes they do, like I said, they do kind of bring it on themselves sometimes, in a sense. But the amount of stress and unhappiness and unmet expectations and excessive burdens, I mean, not physical labor burdens, but scheduling and blah blah, all these things. It's like there is something of a mismatch there in a sense, because it's like, obviously our lives are actually much less hard than they used to be. We don't have to do laundry by hand. We don't have to lift up our rugs and beat them with sticks. We can vacuum. We have disposable diapers. We have all of these things that have made our actual labor, like, lives much like lighter in terms of labor, and yet we're incredibly unhappy and stressed out. And I get it. I'm not saying liberal women are stressed out over nothing. I actually feel like I understand why they're stressed out, but it's like, where is this coming from? Like, what is driving that sense of like unmet expectations and this sort of general discomfort?
This is funny. Jay Bourne says, this is why I don't wear ties anymore. And Ray,
all those damn ladies trying to eat them.
yeah. Ray wants to know what's the topic for today. He's running late for the show. Hi, Ray. We're talking about affluent white women, the stereotype of the awful, and the way that women are being portrayed in media, and it just sort of kind of batting around some ideas around this. I really have a hard time with all the identity reductionism. I really do. I just don't think that stereotyping people, we can see these stereotypes, but again, it's kind of like, it's just more applied demography, you know? I mean, you have one person, you have one person. Yeah, you see trends, that's true. But each of us has, as much as we play out trends because we're human beings and that's how we act according to social scripts and things. We
Yeah.
also are a unique combination of all of those things. And I don't know. I it's hard to separate sometimes the what's true about it from my own reaction to the flattening of people down to stereotypes. But you know, one thing I think, you know, with that, what you're saying about how much easier our lives have gotten in certain ways, I think that people need to be questing. People have a strong need to have a quest and something that's driving them forward, a string that pulls us into the future, you know, something that you're looking forward to, something that you're working on, etc. I remember I was just telling somebody this story the other day. One time a couple of years ago, I had this really bad near miss car accident. So it was terrifying. You know, something happened. I don't remember what it was, but either somebody almost hit me or I almost spun out or something that really scared me. And I had this like massive fear, anxiety, adrenaline moment. And my first thought that came to my head after it went away, the first coherent thought I had was, I can't die now. I have so much to do. And I thought, wouldn't that be the time? Isn't that the way you want to spend your whole life? I kind of
Yeah.
want, when I do go, to still have so much to do because I'm just really actively excited about the next thing. And I like when there's something pulling me forward. And so if we don't have to quest in terms of our immediate surroundings, we just turn the quests into ever more conceptual sorts of things. I don't know. That's my thought. What do you guys think?
I like to have something I'm excited about, something I'm working on, something I'm developing, maybe a skill that I'm developing, um, and it kind of knits my life together and gives shape to my days.
Yeah, Eric
Yeah.
says it's like how retirees go down fast if they retire without a plan to do something else.
Yeah.
And then Ron Nielsen says, Leslie, are you saying liberals are fence sitters? I don't know what you mean. Go ahead and flesh that out more if you like. I'll be glad to respond to it. Yeah, that's Student of Rhythm says people live as if the whole point of living is to lounge on a beach with a drink. That reminds me of something that Jordan Peterson said.
That's right.
You know, that line he's used a couple times about, yeah, you think that you want a cakewalk, you think you want to go and retire and sit on the beach with a drink, but that'll last you a very short amount of time before you'll become, you know, the meaninglessness would overtake you. You need something to do.
Yeah, there's no
Yeah.
point in even getting up. If that's all you're going to do day after day, you have to have something that you can sink your teeth into. And I think I always have to have something to look forward to as
Mhm.
well.
I think that draws back to this idea of being happy. I mean, I think that having that sense of meaning or purpose or something that, you know, you're working on developing, I think that contributes to happiness or feelings of content or feelings of, you know, well-being. I think that's important. And I think that I myself, just with everything, the upheaval in my own career, you know, recently over these past few years, have had to find meaning and purpose myself, so that there is that feeling of contentment and happiness and value and a reason to wake up every day, because it'd be very easy to kind of sink into that space and not every day is just exactly the same as the day before, without any progress forward, without any movement forward towards something. So I think it's really important to have some sense of meaning. And that comes with actually setting goals, I think, whether that's developing a skill or that's, you know, shifting gears and working on a project. I mean, whatever, it doesn't, and it's not something that has to bring money necessarily, but something that brings peace or joy or happiness or brings, growth, development, something.
Yeah, I've wondered how much the internet is, the social media on the internet is deliberately just trying to disrupt that. I have had, I guess, three. I sit really uneasily with my relationship with social media, but I've had three, I guess, responses that I've made to Twitter posts over the past month that have resulted in really ugly pile-ons
Really?
because I
I haven't
disagreed with
seen that.
something about a main point. Yeah, one of them the other day was, they're stupid. It's just you see somebody saying something. I have this, I guess I have this problem with the rage mob whipping up. When people
Yeah.
are, there was one, it was a couple of weeks ago, some big account posted this screenshot from some influencer who's dancing around with her baby. And she says, a year ago she had preeclampsia and she almost died in the hospital. And she's mad about the overturning of Roe versus Wade because she says that the staff of the hospital used that to care more about the pregnancy than her own treatment. So I don't know what she was implying there, but it sounds like she had a horrible experience with her birth. And the big account that reposted this said, this lady is literally saying she wishes she had aborted her child. And I just came in and said, I don't see her literally saying that. I mean, maybe if you asked her to elaborate a little bit more, it's possible that she would say that, but I don't think so. And I don't think that that's an honest reading of this, I think. And people were just like, what a horrible mother. These people are so horrible. She should be, and it was like wishing her death and wanting
Oh,
somebody
how
to take her baby
lovely.
away from her. And then I posted my little thing where I'm like, I don't think that's literally what she's saying. I think that's a pretty harsh interpretation. You can disagree with her stance on Roe without calling her a child murderer in this particular context. And the pylon I got was like, you're hideous, go die. And then a bunch of people saying,
What?
Jew, 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 Jew.
All
Like,
the pro-life people are telling you to go die. No, that's not
yeah,
ironic.
like if I
Wait,
support,
did you say they said Jew?
oh yeah,
What the heck
every
does that have to do with anything? What?
all of the comments that all the pylons I've been, right, because I've had a few, because it's interesting that the last one was about something about race, and I made a comment, and it doesn't see at the end of the day, it doesn't matter. I don't care if people agree with me or disagree with me. I'm just saying,
Right.
here's an opinion I have. Disagree with it. That's fine. We can have different opinions. So I'm not trying to relitigate the argument. It doesn't really matter. But
Yeah.
whatever I said here, I got a bunch of people saying, found the Jew, or look at her nose, she's obviously a Jew, or stuff like that. So there's this thing, and I'm like, are these bots? Because these are accounts that have 16 followers or 8 followers, and they're just spewing this particular kind of hate. And the Jew thing is just like one little side note. I'm
That's
not even
really
Jewish, but
awful. That's really
it's
awful,
really
though.
weird. But
Yeah.
it's other stuff like that. It's like I mean, I could read them. I don't know if you guys want to go through it. It's
Yeah.
pretty crazy
Curious.
stuff. But it's just weird. It's like there's one today that I commented on. And I should say this is like, I'm kind of doing it almost as an experiment to see what happens, because it's just such a hate machine. Shut the F up is one of the responses. Just like lots of that. Pull your head out of shitty asshole and figure it out. Shut up, clown. Like this kind of, and then there's, just the vitriol. I have to wonder, are these are these just really deranged people who are so upset that they're going around looking for places to say nasty things to people? Or is it a part of the user experience? I mean, is the platform either hosting or deliberately inserting a lot of vitriol in order to stir up more hate? Because these rage mobs just get whipped up over these really trivial things. It's very interesting.
The anti-Semitism is something I've definitely noticed these last few years. It's really, really intense.
It's weird.
And it's all
Awful.
over X. Oh,
Yeah.
and I had a really weird experience just now. I went on Twitter before we came on, and I was looking at the what's trending, and maybe it's my own stupidity, but one of the things that was trending, like there was political stuff, and then one was hung, and I was like, why would that be trending? And I thought I assumed it was like a hung jury or a hung parliament or something, but I was sort of like laughing because obviously it refers to a male girth. And no, it was that. And it was a man, you know, I was like, oh God, like the porn thing it's so crazy. Like I forgot that it was there. But yeah, no, I mean, these little swarms that kind of kick up, around anti-Semitism are weird, and I actually wonder. I wonder that too. Are they bots or are they like agents somewhere?
Yeah, it's weird because there's like on the one hand, a hypersensitivity, like calling everything that even questions foreign policy anti-Semitism. But then on the other hand, you see this rampant just name calling and nastiness in chat threads and comments and stuff, which I've been seeing for a while now on my channel too. It seems like it's died down a little bit lately, but for a little while there, it was like lots of comments that were saying it's all the Jews, it's all this big Jewish conspiracy. So it is weird. That's one of those strange things that seems like it's inflamed in a very weird way.
Yeah.
But the hate, I mean, some people here are saying, Pepina says, I'd guess 50% bots and the other mentally challenged. Here, thank you for the super chat, Nechama Gluck. Some are real people who are addicted to catharsis through hatred. Some are bots. Both are equally a huge problem. Um, yeah. Spinster Mountain. Yes, I think there are a lot of trolls and bots that are trying to create the impression that people are a lot angrier and crazier than they really are. And Ron Nielsen, it's not Israel, it's the Vatican. I don't know who any of that is. Yeah, it's very interesting. It does seem more and more like just a hate machine. And I really noticed that with coming back to the Karen, right? The Karen with the baseball. Yeah, there were like 50,000+ likes on posts saying we found the Karen and doxing her because she did something rude and she had a rude interaction, like it's pretty
Kind
crazy.
of scary. I think it's easy to have, I mean, I am a low conflict person. Like I don't get into conflicts with people out and about, but I could see how you could accidentally be rude if you were really sleep deprived or something. And the idea of, oh, that's caught on, video and publicized for all time. I just think there's a viciousness to it.
There is a viciousness to it. I mean, I don't know. It's like, and speaking of caught on video, obviously this major story, or this major social media concern about that poor young woman who was murdered in Charlotte in August, and now they've released footage of the murder. I mean, it doesn't show the actual murder, but right before and right after, she was stabbed in the neck by a deranged African American guy as she just sat on the train. And everyone on the right is now saying, like, fairly asking, why has this not made national news? Like, why the images are so striking. And she was in fact a Ukrainian immigrant. She came here in 2022 to escape the Russian invasion, and she was a stunningly beautiful young woman. And she was coming home from work in a pizzeria at 10 o'clock at night. And she was a beautiful blonde woman. And it's like, okay, and the murderer, the alleged murderer, is African American, and he's homeless, and he's mentally ill, and he was with 14 prior arrests, some of them for violent crimes, right? So obviously, this is not going to be the liberals, pet crime, because it doesn't meet their hierarchy of victim. But it's like, when even so, I'm just conflicted, because on the one hand, even though I do see, like, and I write about it all the time, these liberal women who are driving so much of this chaos, but I also see that it feels like instinctually to me that actually there's also like a large amount of sort of hate and vindictiveness towards white women, and and liberal white women, actually, and I find that very unsettling. Even if I don't agree with them politically, you know what I mean? But having said that, it's maybe this sounds surprising, because I literally spend most of my Substack bitching about them. But,
Yeah, I mean, there's plenty of hate to go around right now. It's kind of interesting. I'll get on Twitter and I'll look and I'll think, who am I supposed to be hating today? And I'll get a sense. Go through the For You scroll. Today it's
yeah,
Muslims. Yesterday it was transgender, or it was the guy, black people in general, because of the guy on the train. It's just it's like it's curating specific hatreds. And I think about how much power that has over us, because you're being fed all these reasons to fuel your hatred. And it's really concerning. I don't know what more and more I'm thinking, I just need to get off of these platforms and not use them. And yet, we still use them a lot of the time because we want to be looped into what other people are talking about. We want to know what's on the news.
Well, my Instagram feed, Twitter is obviously a bit of a clusterfuck, but my Instagram feed is all dachshunds and cute babies. Like, that's it.
My Instagram feed is all ads all the time.
Oh yeah, I get a
just
lot of
like
ads. I do.
God's
I
sake.
get a lot, especially now that we've been looking at those parenting
Oh
channels.
yes.
I get like incessant ads for like, is your kid a pain in the ass? Feed it saffron. I'm like, why do I keep getting this ad? Because I keep watching it in disbelief. So I keep getting more and more of that. But it's all still very wholesome compared to the nightmare that is X.
Yeah. Yeah, the man versus woman thing is one that just seems to be, that's a button that keeps being pressed over and over and giving you reasons to hate each other. And it does seem like it's been more anti-woman lately. Yeah, it is the last thing we need.
Yeah, I mean, I feel like women, I think this is both the hate that Karens get, and also the like white women are, I mean, I'm going to sound very woke. They are quite centered, right, in the discourse. But that's indicative of how much power and influence we have, and actually, the reason where I diverge very, very sharply with the affluent and the liberal and the woke women is that, I am very happy to be centered in the disc. I mean, I'm not, me personally, I don't personally want to be centered in the discourse, but I don't think women need to justify their existence and their centrality in the discourse. I think we have it because we are extremely, extremely important, and without us, nothing will happen. So I don't think women, whereas what woke women feel the need to prove their allyship, or they need to meet all of these self-imposed purity tests, and they're very strenuous. Like, they have to, they always feel like, they always make it look like everything is a real grind. Whereas I am perfectly happy to be like, no, I am female, I am special, just because, and I would leave it at that. You know what I mean? Like, I don't feel like I need to like do extra tasks to prove my worth. And I feel like we should maybe have a little bit more of that.
So Ron Nielsen says, hate is such a commie term. I utterly despise all forms of socialism. So I'm just taking from what you said there that we should use the word despise instead of hate. Not sure if you have a suggestion. I was thinking of the, I mean, really the conversation that I received, or the backlash I received for commenting on that post about race. I felt like I interrupted the 2 minutes hate. Like I walked
Yeah.
into straight out of 1984 and people were like, these posts will come up and then you'll see the mob, the way that people just have to put in their hate too. I mean, I'm using the word because it's what it feels like. It's like they're expressing utter disgust, derision, contempt, and a desire to snuff out whatever they're seeing. So there's this shame-fueled rage that's being
Yeah,
expressed.
rage. It sounds like rage to me.
Yeah, and it's like these topics or these posts serve as lightning rods to sort of channel all of that in.
Well, exactly. And I wonder too if, the fact that, the internet's, relatively anonymous. And so people say things to each other online that they would not necessarily say in person, even if they were, furious. And maybe
Right.
people are just getting out some of their frustration with their life and their condition. And this is an opportunity for them to vent that on complete strangers with, you know, basically consequence free venting of rage, which you wouldn't be able to vent in a social situation that was face to face.
Should we vent that sort of thing?
No, I don't think so. No, I don't think there's any value to going after somebody online. I think challenging people's opinion online or exploring people's opinion has a tremendous value, but ad hominem attacks, I don't think have any value. I think it's lazy. It's a lazy replacement for formulating a sound argument. And I think it's just a kind of, it's like an emotional diarrhea packed into a cannon or something and fired off at a stranger. And it's, no, I think if you really think your opinion is that sound, you should be able to articulate it really well. And then maybe you could persuade some people over to your side. But they're not trying to persuade you. They're trying to upset you, frighten you, hurt your feelings, and they're enjoying getting it out. So there's something sadistic to it.
Yeah. That's kind of that's sort of the point actually. Is like
Sadism.
I'm picking up hints of sadism in the the mob takedowns of Karen figures
Mhm.
that I find like it's not good, obviously, there's a thing too, like we don't know the difference anymore between righteous anger, because anger serves a purpose and it's an emotion that is valid,
Yeah.
it's required, and whatever this is, whatever the going on X, and I think women have just as much lost that distinction as much as anyone, if not maybe more actually, in some cases. But like there is a difference between the righteous anger and sort of a sadistic lust for revenge.
Yeah, Lisa says it's antisocial behavior. That's exactly right. I mean, it's
Yeah.
really inherently antisocial.
Yeah, there's nothing pro-social or helpful or positive about that kind of behavior.
Yeah, Jay Bourne says the first time I noticed this kind of hate was with the Duke lacrosse team trial. It was a foreshadow of what was coming.
Mhm.
And Student of Rhythm says Romans went to watch gladiators, medieval Europeans went to watch executions. The human spirit has monstrosity in it.
Amen to that.
That's true. That's actually very true. I think about that a lot, actually, how much more violent, like physical violence and physical suffering was so much more central to everyone's lives up until fairly recently. Physical suffering and physical hardship were just absolutely commonplace. Even in something kind of you wouldn't even think of, like the fact that the streets were covered in horse dung and human excrement, It's like everything was like there was a lot of unpleasant smells and cold and the kind of punishments that were given out by the state or by the church to criminals and whatnot. It's just a lot more challenging, shall we say, like daily occurrences. And I mean, I'm not going this far to say, but like, do we need a little bit more of that? Like a sprinkle of that?
Well, I really think you're onto something, because the more we remove opportunities for struggle, the more we have to push farther to find the struggle. And people are made for struggle. People are made to be on frontiers. They're made to be problem solving. So
Yeah.
if we take away our problems, we look for more problems. And that's
Right.
just kind of the way we go. Ray said, add watching Kardashians to that list. I don't remember what list, maybe the list of hate things. Yeah, I would. I watched one
Add it to
episode
the
of
list
that.
of gladiators.
Yeah. Oh, that list. Yeah, I watched one episode of that back in the day, and I thought, I think I said, I don't know why people watch this. These people are detestable. And somebody I said that to, I don't remember who it was, said that's the whole point. That's why people watch this, is so
It's
they
called
can
hate watching.
so they can
Yeah.
hate them. And that's when I made my decision. Like, I don't want to do that. I won't watch things that stir that feeling up in
Yes.
me. It's like Christine said about that movie that you guys were talking about, the what was it?
Baby girl.
Baby Girl. She's like talking about how dark that was and how she didn't want that. I don't want to entertain myself with negative feelings. I don't like horror movies. I don't want to hate watch.
Yeah.
I can struggle in my own little life
I'm
plenty.
the same.
I want my entertainment to make me feel good.
It's true.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I've just watched like there's been a whole like I was trying to think of the last time I watched a sort of a prestige series, like an HBO type series, that wasn't about how miserable the elites were,
Mhm.
how miserable, how corrupt, how perverted, how casually cruel and dumb, and you know even in like the most banal and flippant ways, the elites are. And actually, I feel like that's a big tell. I think that probably we're watching these, we're seeing these shows getting made because it does reflect there's truth in that, and or it's at the very least it's how the elites see themselves, perhaps. Like there was another one that I couldn't watch called Saltburn, and it was a British one, and it was so I was just like, I can't watch this. I'm not even going to tell you what it was. It was so gross. It was also extremely like it was shot very dark. So I actually couldn't actually see half of the thing. I was like, okay, someone needs to turn some lights on on these sets. But it was just this again. It was about a young man from a sort of a no privilege background, a working class boy who goes to like Cambridge or Oxford or something, and he falls in with this very wealthy family. And it kind of it's very, very dark, and it obviously becomes like an obsessive jealousy or whatever. I was like, I don't need to see this. I don't need to see this young man who is representing the privilege get destroyed by a psychopath who, wants to bring him down out of class revenge. Like, I don't want to watch that. And I don't want to see all the like kind of demented sexual things they do to each other on the way. I'm good, thanks. I don't want that. I like to go back and watch rom-coms and comedies for the clothes and the sets. I like to watch pretty things.
Oh yeah. It's uplifting.
It's just comforting. You can turn your mind off, and it's just enjoyment just for enjoyment's sake. Like I can't tell you how many times I've watched The Devil Wears Prada, and it's always because I think Anne Hathaway's hair is so pretty.
That's nice. Helena Blavatsky says they should be going after people like Peter Thiel. You mean the rage mobs? I don't know. I think that whether it's technocrats who want to over-engineer our surveillance state, or whether it's Karen with the baseball, ultimately, if we just keep repeating that same process, we're sick with that process. We're the ones who are taking in the sickness. You know, it doesn't matter. I don't
Yeah.
think I believe that the illness is that process, that glorifying the takedown, that
Yeah.
hatred. I don't care who you point it at. If you take it into
Exactly.
yourself, then you're sick with it.
Well, and
And
it just says something about the person who's doing it, right? Like if you're really, really in your own life, I mean, really in it and living it fully, and you've got this juicy life, you really don't have a lot of interest
Yep.
in whipping up a hate-filled, frenzied mob. You just don't, because you're getting fed in a different way.
Mhm.
Yep.
Mhm.
100%.
Yeah, Nakama Gluck. I'm sorry, I say your name different every time I read it. Says to
Eventually you'll
Jenny,
get it right on one of the
right,
times.
maybe one of them will be correct. Says to Jenny, I love to watch people build gardens and do renovations on YouTube. So pleasing to the eye.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's nice. Or maybe redecorate a room, or
Yeah.
Do you
just
guys have
something
any
positive.
particular recommendations for something that you enjoy right now, that you've been enjoying? A movie, a show, or channel,
Oops.
a book,
Mm.
an
I like that
activity?
we're rewatching The Office again because it's so
Okay.
sweet. It's such a sweet show. You know, it's just a sweet, wholesome show, and it's very funny. There's a couple of nice Instagram accounts. I follow one. She's the daughter of the frontman of the Monkees, the band,
Hmm.
and
Oh,
she's, I guess, in her 30s, and she so he's there. He was Mickey, I think was his name. No, I forget which one it was, but anyway, he's English, she's English. She came across my radar because she did a really interesting podcast about the death of her husband, her first husband, and their best friend in a car wreck. It was incredibly powerful. This terrible story. You know, they were in their 20s, and this devastating thing happened, and now she's rebuilt her life, and her Instagram is basically cottage core. She lives in a little
Hmm.
cottage in the English countryside, which is probably
yeah.
like, if I, if I could imagine like one sort of ideal, that would be mine. That would be my idea, like a little cottage in the English countryside, and she has like a little shop where she sells vintage doilies. And I'm like, I love this. I can't
That's
get enough of
awesome.
this. And
Mm,
she's pretty, and
God.
she's sweet, and she's remarried, and little, English stone church. I'm like, oh, like just
How idyllic.
into my eyeballs. Like, I want that.
I have two questions for you, Jenny.
Mhm.
One is it the British or the American Office that you prefer?
The American Office.
Okay. And two, when you said cottage core, where does that slang come from? Because I
It's
keep seeing core and everything, and it's
I
like
don't
this.
know. Well,
Where
I
does
guess
that
from hardcore. I don't. But
hardcore?
cottagecore was
Okay.
like a big deal a few years ago with millennial hipsters and stuff like that.
Okay.
Where they just kind of get really into these niche subgenres, and like dressing like an old timey
Okay.
frontiersman or whatever.
That's
doing
cute.
doing stuff like that.
I gotta keep up with the slang. I don't know. I hosted a baby shower this weekend, and I did a
Oh,
trivia game, and my friend who's having a baby, wrote out the answers, and she made me read the word fits, like as in outfits, but like
uh-huh.
fits, like what
Oh
kind of
yeah.
fits?
Oh, yeah,
I was like,
yeah.
oh my God,
Like
can
my
I say
fit.
this? I think I'm too old to say this word this way, but anyway, thanks for those recommendations. Jen and Christine, do you have any recommendations?
Well, I'm a bit of a hypocrite because I do like true crime. I will watch true crime, but usually, at the end there's some feeling of justice, so there's some closure, and there's justice there. And we had an incident in my family that ended up on a true crime show. So
Oh my gosh.
yeah, that's been on maybe 6 or 7 true crime shows.
Oh my
Wow.
gosh.
And I was interviewed for a couple of them. So that might be why I am drawn to that in particular. So I'll leave it.
Wow.
But
I
yeah.
was just going to say that I know a lot of women watch true crime. I used to be really into it too, but they watch it and they've explained it to me as I watch this because it's completely escapism. It's very compelling, but I know it's highly unlikely to happen to me. Whereas if I'm watching the ordinary TV show, it'll have
Right.
divorce in it or breast cancer. And those are all things that, yeah, that could happen. But me bumping into a serial killer
Right.
is low chance. But then you're just saying, hey, I was
Oh my
interviewed for these
God.
shows. So, oh
Yeah.
my gosh. Oh, I'm
Yeah.
sorry.
Yes. Yes. Yes.
That makes me want to interview you about it.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm happy to talk about it and be,
Okay.
and it was a woman in my family that was murdered. Yeah.
Oh my
Oh my
God.
God.
I'm so sorry.
Yeah. Oh, thank you.
Wow. Wow. I'm sorry that happened.
Yeah, thank you.
So true crime is a recommendation from Christine. Do you have any favorite like podcasts or books or shows that you've watched?
I like 2020. I'm pretty basic when it comes to, and they do other things besides true crime. So, but nothing too much. And it's not all the time. I can't watch it all the time, but
Just a little escapism sometimes for you.
Dateline, maybe
Okay.
2020 Dateline, I would say.
What about you, Jennifer? Anything that you have that makes you
There's some
kind of forget about all the
great
crap?
There's some great true crime podcasters that do a fabulous job. Annie Elise, Kimberlea. Oh, I'm forgetting the other one. There's this lovely British gal who actually puts on her makeup while she tells stories of true crimes, and she does extensive research. Danielle Kirsty, I want to say, I might be butchering her name. Danielle Kirsty, I think. I mean, they do professional level research and do these in-depth analyses of these crimes, and often the person who's the perpetrator of the crime, and then really highlight the victim and their family. And I mean, I think they do sometimes a very sensitive, skilled job of covering these stories. It's pretty impressive.
That's cool. I guess I don't like true crime, but I have one recommendation, I suppose. I like Haruki Murakami.
Oh yeah.
He's I've read a couple of his books. I'm reading Hard Boiled, Wonderland, and The End of the World, and that's pretty interesting.
I see a lot
So-
of his quotes on Instagram.
Oh, really?
Mhm.
Interesting. Well, there's a lot of good recommendations here in the chat too. Let's see. Oh, and Ron Nielsen wants to know if Jenny Holland is Martha Stewart. That's cute.
Yeah.
Ray likes room
I wish I had her energy levels. My God, I'm exhausted after like vacuuming my house. Even if I don't do the whole house, I'm like, oh, I need a rest.
and a
I don't
plastic
know how our
surgery
grandmothers
budget
did
too.
it. Yeah.
She's still quite pretty. Spinster Mountain is obsessed with sailing videos. Area Hermit Woman likes tiny house videos.
Oh,
Ray likes Room 222 reruns on YouTube. And we have some really good, and somebody else, I think it's Area Hermit Woman, likes off-grid homesteaders.
Yeah.
Some good examples of fun things to watch. Oh, Jay Bourne's favorite show was Lost, which I've never been able to
I
get all
never
the way
watched
through.
that.
Yeah.
Pretty
Well-
interesting and intense.
That was a huge deal. I remember
was
how
a
big
huge
a deal that
deal,
was,
yeah.
but I don't know why I never
about
watched
the
that.
ending being horrible, so it makes me want to watch it since I haven't. I want to see what this whole controversy is about the ending, but
Yeah, I didn't watch the last season because it started to get a little too for
Okay.
me.
It was just too slow for me. It was too much recapping.
Really?
Like every episode would be like
They do kind of recap.
60% recap, 40% new info. And David L. Says it's a beautiful day, so get outside. I think that's a great idea. I hope you
Yeah.
guys all have a nice day, a nice week. Thanks for having a good chat. I know kind of straight off of the awfuls. Maybe we can come back to that at some point soon and hear
Yeah, we
more
should.
about what makes them so awful. Let us know in the comments if you want us
Yeah.
to read your thoughts. All right, you guys, take care.